And we are live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday.
Good morning. Good morning. How was
Is
your
this the first Friday of the year or the second one already? We're only on the 6th. It's the first Friday already.
first one?
It feels like the second one already. It's been a long year.
We're just getting rolling.
And
Just
we're
getting
just getting
rolling.
started. It's already been such a long year. Oh,
Well, good morning and happy New Year, everybody. It is that time of the year that most of us are wrapping up 2022 and looking forward to 2023. But you know what? I do have to say I met a guy. I have another online friend that or what was it in a book? There's somewhere where I read where he does not do any changes in January. That's his thing. He's like, I don't want to be part of any of that change in January, and he strategically does his changes elsewhere, which, whatever works for you. I like January as a clean out because I'm
me
taking
too. Put
down.
away Christmas and drop off donations to the thrift store. It's always a time of year like I want to gut out a closet. It's just that fresh feeling for the year.
Exactly. Yeah. So it works with my schedule. But if it doesn't work with your schedule, then it doesn't work. And that's okay. My point is that, whatever makes sense to you. I like to analyze things because I used to like analyze everything weekly, monthly, etc. And then I was like, this is too much. So then I'm like, okay, I need to have my like nose to the grindstone most of the year. And then I'm going to come up for a breath in January and June. I'm going to bird's eye view everything, pull a bunch of numbers, see where I'm at, see what's working, see what's not, and then dive back in. So that's my plan. It's been working for me. So just liking that. Anyhow, we've got slides to put together, we put together slides for the video here on what we pull and what we look at for 2022 and kind of how to do it. Now, this is going to be heavily on Inventory Lab. So if you don't run Inventory Lab, there are ways to pull this information. It is more labor intensive. So I don't know. That's why I pay for Inventory Lab.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not really forking out the dough for Inventory Lab, you really should. Um, you just should. I mean, for how minimal of the cost is, even if you're doing this as a part-time side hustle, like borderline hobby, where you're just trying to make enough money for a car payment, I feel like you should be making enough to afford Inventory Lab. It's just so helpful.
It is, and it gives you some good details. But again, there's ways to pull all this information from Amazon. I used to do it before Inventory Lab. In fact, I ran, I think, without Inventory Lab for almost 2 years before getting it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't get Inventory Lab for when I got it, I was like, oh my God, I should have gotten this. It was
Yeah.
one of those things that you just instantly, it helped so
You
much.
didn't know what you didn't know. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, so this is a time of year. This is the stuff that Lucy and I are doing right now. I usually take a good, really, I give myself the whole month of January to do this because it's not the only thing I'm doing every single day, right? So whether it's once a week or twice a week that you're slowly analyzing these numbers. And these are the reports we want to have pulled, not only for our own self analyzation of our business and the direction in which it's going. It allows us to see where we can improve, and it allows us to also be gathering information that we're going to have ready when it is time to do our taxes. So these numbers and these reports basically fill all of those voids, meet all of those needs, answer all of those questions.
Right. And these are the numbers that we're going to need to forecast. So Tina and I, we sit down and we say, okay, well, what do we want to pull? What do we want to know about our business? And
Mm-hmm.
then we each kind of go through and pull these numbers. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to say, okay, our current numbers are this. What do we want to change? Do we want to go after a higher ROI or a higher profit per item or more bundles or, this store or that store? And you can sit down once you know what you've done and where your numbers are, then you can make strategic decisions going out into the new year. And then that is going to develop our plan. So right now we're pulling, then we're going to sit down and
And
Tina
be
and I have,
planning.
Tina and I have
Pull
a
and plan.
coffee. scheduled in the future. I don't think we've picked a date, but we will pick a date where we just sit down and kind of, say what our numbers are and what our goals are and what worked well, what didn't work well. And then we will strategically come up with a
Yes.
crunching numbers.
And usually we meet weekly throughout the year and discuss this, usually after our lives on Friday. But during Q4, we did not do that anymore because look, we were bombarded with Q4 like everybody else. So I know that Lucy, as well as myself, we're eager to get back on track of doing all of our money planning. And before you dive into the charts, I just want to call out One Good Life who is watching us live. I love your what do you call the image in the circle, the fleur de lis. I love fleur de lis. I love them. I have bookends that are fleur de lis. I love it.
Good morning, William. And Q4, I'm cooked too. Yeah, it was Q4 was a ruckus, and I'm still just trying to get out of the Q4. I've sent almost everything in this week. Like any toys I could somewhat make a profit in, just send them in. They'll sell.
Same.
Toys sell all year round.
Yeah, we did the same. We sent in the toys. I sent in leftover things like gloves and hats, those winter apparel things that didn't sell because I know they're still going to continue to sell because in lots of parts of the country, I mean, they have snow into early spring and they sell every year into early spring. And then I have been sending in yesterday. My husband prepared a shipment for Valentine's that we got out yesterday. And now he's in the back doing another shipment of just our regular replens that I had to order that have now come in.
Yep. One Good Life says, do you ladies still use Inventory Lab for your shipments with the new workflow? Yes. And they fixed something.
I don't use the new workflow once I send it to Amazon, though. In Amazon, I still select the old workflow, and I have to take that survey every time telling them I hate it.
Exactly. We're all trained up. Like everybody here knows the new workflow and how to do it, but we all select the old workflow. Nobody likes the new workflow.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I've only used it twice just to see what it was, to make sure I knew how to use it for when they forced me to use it, but that's about it.
Happy New Year, Tycoon, and everybody else out there. Hold on, I almost hit in broadcast. I want to hit present screen, share screen. Let's see here. New workflow is only good for hazmat FBA, and I love them too. I have Fleur de Lis tattoo on your back. That's cool. So new workflow is only good for hazmat, really? Oh, okay. It will force everything to one warehouse. Ooh, that's good to know, Ben. Good tip right there. All right, so I found this guy. I thought he looked pretty good. Stock image. But he looked like he was preparing to analyze. So we went through and kind of discussed what should you pull. If you're looking to forecast, what numbers should you know as an Amazon seller? And these are numbers that if somebody stopped me in the street and said, what is your average profit per item? What is your, highest return category? These are all numbers that I would be able to rattle off, maybe not down to the penny. My average profit per item hovers between $3.60 and $3.83. But you will know kind of a guesstimate of that. And then when I know that my profit is an average of $3.60, if I'm out there sourcing stuff, I can either aim for higher or contemplate lower if it's got some other things going on for it. But we were thinking sales price, profit per item, fees, cost of goods, return analysis, sales reports and Inventory Lab. I love the by ASIN category and store, inventory valuation. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying yes. Like I'm agreeing with you. Yes.
Other KPIs that I used to keep track of that are not I don't want to say they're not important, but when I was starting out, these were a lot more important than they are to me now. And I used to keep track of them as like a monthly type of thing, was new accounts I opened with wholesalers or new stores that I had learned or new categories that I had learned. When I started doing food, my goal was to find 2 profitable food items every month. And did I do that every month? Ungating, That was something when I first started, I did ungating every Friday. I would go through all my applications and get as ungated as I could. Feedback and reviews. Feedback and reviews are still important, but they're not as detrimental to my business. Like I don't really need to do anything other than to make sure that I'm not getting any bad feedback.
Yeah. And now, I mean, as you know, because we have most of all the same accounts, I have so many accounts and have been approved for so many accounts, and some of them I've never even bought anything from. A lot of times it's like you need to open the account and get approved for the account in order to even get a price sheet. You don't even know what the things cost until you get approved and get the account. You get the account, they send you over the price sheet, or it's available on their website under their wholesale login, and you realize that their prices aren't even that good.
I had that happen. I had a wholesaler this last week that I was getting, what do we call it? Valentine's Day candy from, and they were almost $1 more than candy at Walmart. I'm like,
Yep.
I'll just swing by Walmart on the way home. I don't need the,
Hmm.
I don't need to go with you.
That's right. Because not only are they $1 more, you also then have to pay for the shipping to you. So,
Sometimes, and wait, I'm like, I can go pick up, and I want to get Valentine's Day. Really, we're going to try and push it out today, but
yeah.
we're having some staffing drama in the office
Yeah, and
here.
Valentine's is because it's such a short window of when
Mhm.
Valentine items hit the store and when Valentine's Day actually hits right after Christmas. Valentine's is really a short window holiday where you've got to act fast. You've got to make decisions fast and get that stuff out fast because it's got to get to the warehouse in time. Otherwise, you are competing against FBA sellers and merchant fulfilling your Valentines. Although that's not what today's topic is about as we went down our rabbit trail, it is still important to know.
Yes, and quick question there: when is your cutoff for Valentine's Day?
Well, for me, I try to get things out definitely by January the 10th. And because I feel like I need to give it 2 weeks to hit Amazon and go live for the most part, it averages 2 weeks. And historically, I can tell you that most all of my Valentine's Day items sell very close to the holiday. Where Christmas and other holidays, people will buy weeks before the holiday and sometimes even after the holiday. The one thing I've learned about Valentine's over the years is people will buy, I want to say like February the 9th or 10th is like when you'll just blow out of all your Valentine's Day stuff. I mean, it always, those sales are always super close to the holiday for Valentine's specifically.
Hmm. Okay, but for sending in, did you have a specific date?
Yeah, I said like by January the 10th. Yeah, giving it 2 weeks to hit the warehouse.
Okay, well then my Heather was saying that hers was like this week, like
Hmm.
yesterday or the day before, and I
I
felt
sent mine
behind.
out yesterday. Yeah, I sent out a little bit earlier, but the things that I had to create listings for went out yesterday. So I am actually done sending out my Valentines.
Jiminy, Jiminy. All right. William asks, how did the groups go that we set up? I thought of joining, then we had to drop everything. Will you be doing it next year? Probably. I don't see why we wouldn't do it next year. We'll see.
Went well, and actually they are still ongoing, but both of the groups that their bolos or VAs are shared, I believe they're both full currently.
Correct.
We
Yeah.
just we decided to continue it into the new year. For those that were in it during Q4, they wanted it to keep going, so we did continue with it, and then we've started a bundle membership. Well, not membership, you just pay once, but we did start a bundle group where we're teaching bundles as well
Yep. But it went good. I was really happy with. I mean,
too.
we didn't really have any drama, which is good. That's
No, and I feel like I've made some new friends now. When it's a smaller group, yeah,
mhm,
you feel like you get to know people a bit better.
exactly. So let's see here. What I think I went in order of this.
Okay.
At least I that was my intent when I put these slides together
Yes.
2 days ago. So when you're in Inventory Lab, you can go up to Accounting and you click FBA Sales. And you could do this for merchant fulfilled sales too. My merchant fulfilled sales have definitely different matrix. My profit was a lot higher. My
Always.
Yeah, it was nice. So it was worthwhile for you. Yeah, it was definitely worthwhile for us. So we enjoyed it, William.
Now, these are actually Lucy's charts. I didn't take screenshots of mine. I didn't think we needed both. But I do want to point out that my FBA sales, my average profit price, because I have my inventory lab window open, was a little higher than yours at $4.92 an item. But the one thing I want to point out is Lucy sells more than I do. She has bigger numbers than I do, and as we have been working together and growing together, the more Lucy has spent and sent in, we've noticed that her average sale price number ends up dropping a wee bit lower. Don't you remember us doing that in when we were running our numbers? And I forgot why that was. And I but you're still making profit. It's not that one is better than the other because you are pulling more income and more numbers than I do. But I did find that interesting as we were doing our
You,
numbers last year.
you source, you're more strategic on what you pick. So when we go to the store, I may pick out 10 different items and my threshold might be a little bit lower, and you're
Yeah,
more choosy on which ones you're going to throw capital at. But
yeah,
that's because I've got employees that
that's
pack up
right.
and go and have limited, I have people that turn and burn. So I
Yeah,
can take that item and, I can take that and go. The other thing is I will buy, if you're buying 20 or 40 of something, I might buy more than that.
80.
Yeah.
That's right. And I did want to point that out because I call it a growing pain, if you will. I just want people to not feel discouraged that if they're starting to scale and they find that that average profit per sale price is dropping a little bit, that with us doing our numbers together for over a year, we've noticed that as a trend in growing. So I just want to point that out so people don't feel maybe discouraged, like, oh, my average profit is now declining per item as I'm growing. That seems to be in line with growing a little bit.
We also noticed a cut in profits with general inflation, an increase in
Mm-hmm.
packing supplies, an
Yes.
increase in, the cost of goods not catching up to Amazon. I think they're starting to. You start to see things more. And I did want to point out in 6 days on the 12th, no, tomorrow, oh, it's either on the 7th or the 12th. Small and light goes to $12. I want to say it might be tomorrow. So I might be on the computer tomorrow crunching in, and anything that's under $12 you can enter into the small and light program. You got to put that on your calendar. That's going to be huge in saving fees for those 12 and under items
Yeah,
this month.
that will be huge. And I
But
know that as I've grown my Amazon, my average sale before all the inflation used to be around $7 per item on my
mhm.
average sale price. And now it has dropped down.
William's saying it's the 17th. Is it the 17th that goes to 12, or the 7th that goes to 12, or the 12 that goes? I got 7 and 12 in my head. He's saying the 17th. We'll go with the 17th. That sounds about right. Oh my goodness. Gotta turn that off. I keep getting messages. The other thing I wanted to just say is, your numbers, you only have to explain them to you and maybe, your business partner or your husband or wife or whoever, but know your numbers. And even if you're like not, like, you don't report to anybody, like I don't report to my husband per se, but I will sit down and I'll explain all of this to him. It gives him some insight into my business. I'm sure he's just listening intently to appease me. He's not really,
He
he doesn't
gives you
care,
feedback. He
what my
gives you.
profit is. But if you don't have that, get a picture, put it on the wall, pick a celebrity, put it on the wall, talk to your dog, your animal, your cat, go to the park and talk to a tree. I don't know, something where you are, going through. And I mean, this is sometimes when we work alone, or at least I felt this way when we were our own CEO, and you're running a maybe 30,000 in sales, 10,000 in sales. You feel kind of like peanuts, and it's not noteworthy. You're noteworthy. You're noteworthy. You're growing,
Yep.
and you know,
And look, if that circled deal there, average profit price per sale, if that is not in the negative, you're winning. Right?
yep. Well, you have to also understand, like, this doesn't take into account my rent and my labor. I run QuickBooks, so I
Mhm.
don't, if you run Inventory Lab and you run just Inventory Lab, use their profit and loss sheet and plug everything in there and you will have a good idea. I run
Yeah.
QuickBooks and I have a whole nother aspect to my business. So I look at those numbers. So if you don't hear us talking about profit and loss, it's because we look at them in a different, you run Zero, I run QuickBooks. Some people run just Inventory Lab for their profit and loss. Um, but just for forecasting, I need these numbers
Yes.
when we are doing things. They will look different if you pull from Amazon. So if you're worried about your Amazon sales don't match your Inventory Lab sales, it is because they calculate slightly different on when it ships and when it lands and returns and all of that. I did want to say that today too. Just trying to remember all the little tidbits. So if you are in Amazon, you're going to go into your dashboard. What is this called? Where is this? This is reports, right? Hold on, I'm going to find it.
Yeah.
I got to re-sign in. I'm trying to think of the exact link. Click the three little lines, reports, and then business reports to find this one right here. And you can see how many units were ordered, what your average sale price was. It matches up close. Your total sales. So I did over 500,000 this year, which my goal was 750. So I did not, I had aspirations for more, but it just,
But you know what? That's a great number a lot of people aspire to have. So
oh yeah. Yeah, it just was one of those years where I felt like every time I got ahead, I got punched in the face. I mean, it was just
we
a
had
year.
a rough year this year. Yes. Lucy and I did have a rough year this year with things as well as all of you did too.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't just me having a rough year. And when I bird's eye view out, at the end, I have my health, my children, my love. My family. I have Tina. So I have a lot of positive in my life. So when I say I got hit in the face, it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything as like super serious because I know a lot of people are going through real problems,
Yeah.
not just not just everyday problem. I had everyday problems. I had first world problems. There we go.
There you go.
Definitely, but that's okay. Not applicable here. What I want to look at though here is the units sold, 36,000. So that's something that if I divide that by 12, you're getting 3,000 items a month. And so goal wise for in the office here, I know that I would
Was
need to get that
five.
up. Say that again.
I was going to say, I think it was 5,000 was the goal this year that we were trying to do per month
On
items.
units. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just put it up. My items out right now, goal to hit by the end of the year is 6,400, but I'm still mulling that one over.
We'll discuss that later.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to think. That's sometimes your goals are not realistic. So to go from 3,000 to 6,000, is that actually realistic by the end of the
That's
year?
right. You
That is,
have to do it slightly above what you were actually obtaining last year.
do you ever watch the Dilberts or read the Dilberts?
At the comics in the newspaper?
Yeah.
I haven't read comics in the newspaper in years.
We get the Dilbert calendar every year. Anyhow, they
Okay.
had a whole spiel on goals and stretch goals, and we used to hang them up because I had one company that would always want you to have like these really unobtainable stretch goals. I'm like, why? It's stupid. It'd be like me saying, okay, I did 500,000 in sales this year. Okay, I'm going to go do 5 million this next year. No, I'm not. I know I'm not. It's like,
Put it
come
in the
on, got to
universe.
be realistic here. Okay.
And so
Supplier
here
part.
on the supplier tab, yeah, the supplier tab, what I like to look at is which of my stores or wholesalers did I buy and sell the most units of? Because I want to focus more on that supplier.
Yeah, yeah. I I wanted to kind of go through ROI. So obviously
Mm-hmm.
the higher ROI, the better. And then
Yep.
the lower ROI, is it still applicable? I mean, I have some suppliers that things come in and we just turn and burn really quick and they're like nothing. And others where it takes packaging and you've got to coordinate several things to go into a bundle. Is it worth the difference?
And sometimes it is because there are some lower ROI items that you talk about turn and burn that require such little effort that it's still worth the money that you are making on them, even if they are a lower ROI. If I'm making money, I am making money.
Yep. That is true. That is true. I mean, I just got some things in from one, and we literally like they'll take 10 minutes of labor, they
Yeah.
bag and go, and it's easy peasy things. Whereas I got this whole shipment, my lady that I bought $4,000 worth of junk from, taking a little bit longer to process because we have to, match things up. And some of the things she had her labels on, and some are a little, just we're trying to rework this inventory that just takes a little bit more time. I did cross out profit because like I said, profits are all done with QuickBooks, so I don't really pay attention to that here.
Mm-hmm.
Units sold, units refunded. This is where I'm going to pull these two numbers. I definitely pull these two numbers. I'm going to look at my supplier information to kind of guide me into where to go next time. And then let's see here. I look at my worst suppliers too. So this is the worst suppliers. Don't stop there. And I'll go through these really quick to kind of give you guys an idea of where to stay away from, because sometimes it's good to know where to go, and sometimes it's good to go where not to go. Bazaar, holy smokes, that was a terrible purchase. I met them at ASD. They do a lot of licensing things. I did not like working with them. They sent me garbage. It was a mess. I had, damaged products. They were a pain in the butt to work with. I don't talk battle out a lot of people, but I will never do business with them again.
Yeah.
Coal Imports, that's a turn and burn, discount wholesaler. I find their prices are too high. A lot of Amazon shoppers obviously shop there. I did one test run with them as a new supplier, and next thing you know, everybody's on the listing, and I'm just trying to dump. They did not have compliance paperwork. It was just bad. Fleet Farm, I never got into that. It's kind of like Menards. I just can't really grasp around Fleet Farm, but a lot of people love Fleet Farm. I'm not really pro or against. Marshalls, I really think I went to Marshalls maybe once this year. It's just, I don't know. I just didn't have much Marshalls going on. Macy's, I brought some bras from Macy's off of somebody. I can't remember how
I
I got.
remember that sale. It was a like an $8 a bra sale. I remember that Macy's purchase. I forgot what time of year it was, but I do remember us looking at the Macy's bras.
It was terrible. I mean, I made a couple dollars off some, and then the rest just price tanked so hard. In fact, bras just got hit hard. Amazon is almost on all of them. I went to the Kohl's sale over Thanksgiving, and it was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad. Pet Mountain, oh yeah, they're just another one. That's a pet store online. It might work for wholesale. I mean, for like if you wanted to get ungated and things, but I doubt it. It was just I didn't try something out. It didn't work. Move on quickly. In fact, I'm going to print this out and put it on my wall here
Of
today.
what not where not to shop. Now I do good at
I'm just
Marshall.
saying
Oh.
that says, don't water the weeds.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
water weeds, and that I'm
Yes.
going to
Yeah.
just ingrain. I might even tattoo it on my arm, man. Christian bookstore, all I did was get ungated for DVDs.
Ungated.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
the ungate. And let's see here, it cost me $8.10 to get ungated. Plus, let's see, I sold 4 out of the 10. I think I threw the other 6 to disposal or something. And they were
I have
99.
mine in a Goodwill tote in the back room. I had listed mine on eBay just in case they sold. They
It
were a
was,
dollar a piece DVDs that we used to get ungated. So, I mean, it didn't break the bank, and I
no.
can gladly donate them to the Goodwill.
Mhm. Charm Company went through some overhaul. I used to get like Cinco de Mayo stuff from them, and I don't know. I used to get things from them, and their prices went up, and it was just god awful. Michaels, I think I spelt this wrong because there's only one item, and I know I sell other things from Michaels. So that's another thing. I'll have to go and clean up my suppliers in
Stores.
Inventory Lab, because I'll wind up with a Walmart with the dash, and then Walmart with a capital, Walmart without a capital, and it throws your numbers off when you're tracking. Party City. I don't think I shopped at all at Party City this last year.
Yeah, I haven't for a few years. I used to during Q4 because they would get several years ago. I was wiping out Party Cities of when that Oreo cookie dunking kit had come out a few years ago. It still is in the stores, but it was like that first year that they
Mhm.
hit the shelves. They were selling for like $50 a box. It was with the little like cup and the
Oh,
Oreo dunker thing, and I would go around to Party Cities buying them up because I got wind of that they were also at Party Cities because normally you were finding them at like Big Lots or Walmarts, but people never thought to go into Party City for them.
ah. I'm not opposed to going back to Party City. I used to love Party City before COVID, and then
Hmm.
COVID hit, and it was like party stuff just went
I
tank.
find it hit and miss. I find their prices too high personally.
Oh yeah, you got to hit the. I'm just talking the
Yeah.
clearance, but
Yeah.
I've found good clearance items, especially if you get the licensed stuff and then maybe group it together. Um, Carson used to be open to Amazon people, and then they
Shut the
kibosh.
door on us.
They shut me down.
Hmm.
They were kind of jerks about it too. He
Yes,
had
they
to
were.
call, and I'm like, why can't I get this ordered? And he's like, well, we just deactivated you because
Hmm.
what did he say? It was borderline rude.
He was very rude. I don't remember the words, but he was very rude, the man that ran the Carson wholesale division.
Yeah, but they basically cut out all Amazon sellers, and
Hmm.
they kept a select few, like three or something. I wasn't one of the chosen three, so I was like, well, screw you and your friggin' anyhow. Their stuff wasn't that amazing, anyways. I'm like, your things don't smell like roses there. Breville. I would love to reincorporate Breville because Breville can be a money maker. Them coffee parts. People want them coffee parts. I could never get the website to work though. I got so
It is tricky to use their website, and their minimums are three of each item. You cannot go deep with that company. You can only order three. The way I've always got around, is it Breville or Breville? I've always said Breville, and then you said Breville, and it makes me wonder, how
I've
do you say
never
it?
heard Breville.
Oh, so see, it's me that's wrong. Breville is how you say it. Look, I don't know. Sometimes
Maybe
I
I'm
see
wrong.
sometimes I see their coffee machines and tea kettles at Marshalls and TJ Maxx's, but it's usually like a really high buy cost for little profit. You know, you might spend 118 on it, to make $17. Um, but what I did, and I think it is on our sheet we share, it's been a while since I've shopped them, but I once you find your item on their site, I copy and paste the link to that item on the Google spreadsheet because it
Yep.
takes you directly to it where you can add three to your cart because it is a really tricky website to source and to shop at. Then, knowing that they only allow three items in the cart will save you a big headache because it's very hard to check out with them. So then, even if you do your three items, the checkout process, their site can be it lags. It is, and sometimes you'll try to check out for hours. Like their website is laggy, but their stuff does sell very good and profits very well. And since everyone is limited to only buying three, I think it keeps prices from tanking on Amazon because all of us can only buy so much of their item.
Yeah. And it arrives really nice. It's very high quality. It packages easy. It's
Mm-hmm.
all good on that side. I did find that if you use the customer service, they'll put through the order, but they typically, like, I don't know, the people who have helped me out make an order, they're like, you want three of all these things? What's going on? You know, they would ask particular questions and whatnot.
I
So they're
run
not,
a local repair charity for people with these machines.
yeah. I just say it's for work. It's for work. It really is for work. That's my
It's for our
go-to.
maintenance department for when our
Yeah.
machines
Yeah.
break.
Kate says, I think I'm coming to appreciate focus on lower but less laborious items.
Laborious items, yeah. Me
Laborious.
too, Kate. Well, I think it's supposed to be laborious. Like she doesn't want to have to labor too much,
That's
like
potato
wrapping up
potato. You can say potato or potato.
Breville, laborious, laborious, whatever you want to call it.
Higher velocity. Do you like that pronunciation? Are you okay with velocity?
I say velocity, or
Good.
do you say velocity?
No, I don't. No. But yeah, that's a good thing, Kate. Definitely think of your labor and velocity, especially if you're IPI. I did a lot of focus on my IPI this last. That's another KPI. I didn't write that one down, but my IPI, so that my storage, I was creeping down
Oh
to
yeah.
that level, and then I focused on it, and now I'm back up. But velocity is an important one as well. And Good Life says, appreciate the honesties about this stores. Yeah, we're
Always.
here to shed some light. I mean, they're
There's
experiences, and we want to share the good and the
and they're
bad.
real experiences, yeah. Or we can be like, the hype people out there that are always crushing it and always killing it and filling up our
Oh, I know.
carts.
Oh my God. Let me show you my Lamborghini and my fake condo with my fake girlfriend and all of that stuff. I get those ads all the time on the thing. I made millions of dollars in 2 weeks with no money
Millions.
down, and well, yeah, no, you didn't, honey. No, you didn't. It's when you start digging into those things, you start seeing all the you see all the, yeah. Anyhow, let's see here. Categories. This is another one I like to look at, but mainly I am pulling units refunded and units sold because that's going to come in handy later.
Mm-hmm.
And then percent of revenue, kind of see where you're focusing on in, where's your revenue being made? Mine's 23%
Mm-hmm.
grocery. I didn't think it was that high, honestly. I'm trying to think of what I've been selling there. I know Q4 was huge
I know sometimes these surprise me too when I run these, and mine also is like yours, grocery and kitchen. Now, kitchen doesn't surprise me being
yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't know. It is, 12% is toys, and that was mostly Q4. I don't think I really do toys outside of Q4. I do a
I don't do
couple.
much, yeah, here and
Yeah.
there.
And then ROI for the categories. You can clearly see that kitchen is my best ROI. So, that tells me maybe I should focus more on that. Beauty is at 65%. What's my lowest one? Apparel. Yeah,
And home.
yeah. Well,
But I imagine home is really probably home and kitchen still kind of go together. Now, it's so funny over the years, mine has changed a bit because apparel and toy used to be my top two. So it is interesting how these things can change.
yes. And if I went and did bras at Burlington, I know I could kill it. But when COVID hit, like there was just nothing there. And I've been in and out of the Macy's and not the Macy's, the Marshalls and TJ Maxx and Burlington. And since COVID, it's been garbage here. If I go to the Burlington down the street, there might be 2 racks of bras and I might find 6 that I could sell. Is that worth
Hmm.
my time? No,
No.
absolutely not. Same with Macy's. I tried that out because I'm like, oh, I can order online. Let me see how this does. I did a test run. It was garbage. So I'm going to stay away from it. Does that mean it's going to be garbage next year? No, things change constantly.
Hmm.
What else? I don't think I wanted to say anything else about that. Kate, I'm sorry. I don't understand the storage thing at all. I saw sellers that do much more volume get their amount slashed to nothing, and I have more available, and I can see myself using for at least another year. Okay. Yeah, storage, you got to go into each one, and they have weights. So you know how you have the 4 things to your IPI, it's like turnover, in stock rate, everything. There's and you get your score. So let's say your score is 450. That's not even across all 4 points. It's weighted, and I can't remember which one's the highest one. Do you remember? I think it's turnover.
I don't know. I can go in. Yeah, I think turnover is the highest. The in stock is actually worth the least amount
Yeah.
of that score. It's interesting because this Q4 I did a lot more clothes, like how I used to do in my early days. And on my report, apparel is actually my fourth one down as far as units sold. So that is interesting how that has switched this year. But like you, grocery is my number one. I will say when you are looking at the IPI, the order that they are listed, and I know in stock is at the bottom, they are listed in the order of importance of how much it affects that score. So whatever that top line item is the one that affects it the most.
Where is it? It's a
I can
dashboard,
look
right?
at it if you want.
I'm there. I'm already
Oh,
there. It's
okay.
loading. Loading. Excess inventory, in stock rate, sell through rate, stranded inventory. is how it goes. Top influencing. So yeah, that is how it goes. All right. Good Life says Burlington TJ Maxx similar. They're not great. Yep, you got to go where you can find things. Okay, so out of ASIN levels, I like to go in and look at the ASIN levels, see what category is CE.
CE. I'm looking
Computer
at
and
oh yeah,
electronics.
oh yeah, because I have CE also on mine. I sold 1 unit of CE of
Is it?
computer and electronics. Yeah, I think that's what that is.
I think so too. All right, so out of ASINs, it always kind of amazes me how many ASINs I look at. 2,543. And that's just the ones I bought. And I scan a lot of stuff. So
Yes.
I probably looked at, I don't know, probably 5,000 plus ASINs. That's crazy. No wonder my eyes are going terrible.
Look, I swear this is why we're reading glasses now. I mean,
Uh-huh.
when I'm not on the computer, I don't need to wear them for anything. But when I'm on the computer or, writing, I have to wear the glasses now.
Yeah. So, clearly I want to look at my top selling items. Something that I have makes me $1,500 for the year. Do I want to restock that? Do I not want to stock that?
How many
The
refunds were there? All of
exactly.
those things factor into how we decide what ASINs we want to continue, if we can continue. Hmm.
Exactly. These top two, I can't. My supplier is toast. So I'm gonna cry about that later because that's $3,000 worth of profit that I'm out. But I had 532 orders and 389, and I only got 1 unit refunded. Oh no,
And
six.
that, but look, that's great, and these are the winners, right?
Mhm. So look at your winners. Same thing. Look at your losers. I didn't pull that for this, but I did go in and look at what was the worst decisions. Why did I make that decision? Was it based off of a
Deal. A lot of times it's the deal, like, oh,
it's a
these are only
deal?
25 cents, and you get suckered into buying a whole bunch because you found something for 25 cents.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I got suckered into that bizarre deal, and that was just bad. I'm kicking myself. Okay, so I went and I pulled units sold, units refunded, and I popped them in. I just quickly copied paste into here, and then I did a percentage. So all you do is you're going to divide out 275 divided by 5,376, and you're going to see what your returns are. A lot of people ask, oh, I don't want to sell apparel because it's got so many returns,
And
or I
it
don't want.
does. And
Yeah.
11% is not bad. I mean, I think that's pretty, I think that's a pretty good area to be in on apparel items.
Yep. If you're going to go into apparel or shoes, the average is between 10 and 12%.
Hmm.
Or it's not just you, it's like everybody.
Everybody. Hmm.
There's no, I mean, unless you just want to sit there and sell hats or something. I don't know. Scarves, something that's always going to
Socks.
fit.
Yeah.
But, out of those 222 units that were refunded, most of them got resold. And I
Hmm.
would say I saw maybe 20% of that come back to the office over the years.
Question that I just thought of now. So, on this topic, so units sold of apparel, right,
Mhm,
is 1972 units.
mhm.
222 were refunded and returned. So if those 222, let's say that all 222 of them were resold, does that make that 1972 number grow again? Does it get counted twice when it's sold? I don't even know.
That would be an inventory lab question. I have no idea.
Hmm. I don't know either. If anyone else knows, pop it in the chat because I really don't know.
It might be on Inventory Lab's page on how they do the calculations, but you're just looking to see, and this is why we like Inventory Lab, is it gives you this data. Whereas if you went and pulled your sales on Amazon, I don't think you can pull anything by category. You'd have to go through and categorize it yourself and then calculate it a very long
Hmm.
way. So my point though is I look at this, I briefly look at my numbers, and the only thing I'm really looking for is anything that stands out. If my apparel return rate was 40%, I'm doing something wrong because it is higher than industry standard.
Hmm.
And that's all I'm looking for on this. I just want to know kind of the average return rate. Does everything look okay number wise? Overall, it was 3%. 3% of my inventory got returned. I'm fine with 3%.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. To me, that's a okay standard. I'm going to move on with my life. But I know that number. If somebody said, well, what's your return rate? Oh, it's about 3%. My highest is apparel at 11. My lowest is obviously grocery and health because you can't return the items. But, it's not anything, no anomalies are standing out.
Right.
And
And then the down, and then there's pluses and downsides with each of
mm,
these categories. Like apparel, you are subject to a higher return rate. With grocery, health, and beauty, you're subject to a lower return rate. But with grocery, beauty items, you have to make sure that you're buying and selling within that expiration date window. So you really have to have a fast turning item for sure and make sure that you are selling it and sending it in and checking expiration dates. That's the labor that's involved with those categories.
yes, and apparel will sometimes sit there as, it doesn't sell as fast as those other categories. So
Yeah,
if you're worried about your IPI score, you're going to want to focus more on faster turns than something that's going to sit there. But I
right.
get probably more profit per item off apparel because on my bras
Yes.
I'm looking for $5 to $10 in profit versus grocery I'm not looking for as high of a profit margin.
Yeah.
Kate says her shoes are at 10 and apparel at 12.
Yep.
That's about right.
You're
I mean,
normal.
and you're never going to get down to zero on any of this stuff. In fact, I had a little soapbox moment the other day because people are complaining to complain, some of them, and whenever you're selling anything, you're going to have returns. You're going to have returns. You're going to have nasty customers. You're going to have people that are just jackwagons. And that's okay. If you owned a store, you'd have people that did, what do you call it, shoplift from you. You would have jerks out in the wild as well as online. So if that's going to bother you, then this is not the zone for you. It's kind of like my old jobs were very focused on problems, and that bothered me because I was always just looking for problems and solving problems, and it didn't affect my soul very well. And so I'm glad I'm now into this one, into this realm, because I'm not sitting there always in the negative about problems. I was pre-med for a bit there until I started working at a hospital, and I didn't like the vibe at the hospital. It was very doom and gloom and not happy, and it just really affected me in a negative way. And I said, okay, well, that's not for me, and that's okay. It's not
Hmm.
for everybody. But anyhow, Jack Wagon, yeah, it was on a commercial, Sarah. It was on a commercial, and I love that because then I can say it on YouTube and not.
Without saying arse.
Accomplishments. I think this is huge. Write them down because if you're ever like I get down on myself all the time. I'll get whatever, something bad happened. We've had drama this week in the office and whatnot, but I gotta sit there and think of my accomplishments in 2022 and not necessarily the downside on
And
the
we
failure.
talked about doing this last week. I believe on last week's live, we encouraged everybody to sit down and write down those accomplishments because you don't sometimes realize how much you really did grow or do until you sit down and really write them down.
Mm-hmm. And they could be anything from started to enjoy the moment more, or made more time for family, or you cooked a really good Christmas dinner. I don't know. They don't have to be gigantic accomplishments.
No.
This year was huge in my books, but this next year, holy smokes, no, I need a year of rest. My goodness, this last year had too many things going on. I really I need a year of just kind of plain Jane going on. But Tina and I will write these down too, and we will look at what did we accomplish, and did we enjoy accomplishing it too? Like, was it something that we wanted to accomplish and that it went smooth, or didn't go smooth, or we really liked it, or we didn't like it?
Yep.
Have you?
And Lucy got me a cute gift. If it was within reach, I would show everybody. I have a moment of these accomplishments, I do this on the daily. This is something I do daily because I tend to beat myself up and I'm very hard on myself. The very thing I tell others not to do. I'm my own worst enemy. Um, of beating my own self up. I'm an overachiever. I'm a perfectionist. And so, because of that, I'm hard on myself. So every afternoon, I need that break because we're on the computer all day. We're thinking, we're shopping. I mean, this is a mental business. You know, the going out and shopping in the stores is the fun part, right? Or the looking at your sales for the day is the fun part. But the meat and potatoes of it, it is a mental job. And so in the afternoon, I need to get off the computer. My brain needs to stop for a moment just to relax itself. And so I sit on the couch with a cup of coffee or tea and I call it rethinking my life. I've mentioned this before on our lives. And so sometimes Lucy will message me. I'm like, oh no, you text me at a perfect time because I'm sitting here rethinking my life. But really, what I'm doing is giving my brain a break and going over in my head what I've accomplished already for the day. And it's only the afternoon. And I feel like that's good for my soul because I
Mhm.
tend to feel like you're not doing enough. It's not, it's the list is always longer than I can really get done in a day.
Yes, yes. My lists are always much longer, and you just know you're not going to accomplish everything. But like Tina, we're our own worst enemies here. But it this job you have to be self motivated to do.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot sit there and wait for somebody else to do it for you. And managing that self motivation is something that you need to learn and grow as a person so that you can not get stressed out about it and balance it. And finding
Yeah,
balance in this world is tough because
it
at
is tough.
a lot of jobs you go there, you do your 8, you get out, and then it's like you did your 8 and you left it all at work. This is not that kind of job,
It's
unfortunately.
not. It's not, and it's so funny because I'm always everybody else's biggest cheerleader, and we had this conversation the other day where you were being a bit hard on yourself, and for me on the outside looking at it, and me knowing you and the ins and outs of things, I, you, I saw it from an unemotional perspective because it wasn't my issues or my life or my goings on. And I'm just like, are you crazy? I'm like, you've done a killer job, and it's like, and I meant it, and I know I have these cheerleader moments with you, like for you about yourself of like, don't beat yourself up. You're doing a great job. And sometimes we need that friend or that person who's close to us to share with us how they see us on the outside, where Lucy can do the same for me, where I'm, maybe feeling like, oh, this is so hard. And Lucy will have to stop me and say, are you kidding? You've done this, and this.
Mhm.
And how we see ourselves is not all the time how others see us.
Exactly, exactly. So if you are, I don't want to say missing that in your life, but if you need to, you know, beef that up in your life, do some networking and make some friends. We've got an awesome community over on the Facebook group, and we meet up at ASD. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of friendships created this year that I've loved seeing and
Yeah.
flourish. So, and that's huge. You can't really quantify that or put a price tag on it when you're looking at your profits and stuff. So at the end of the day, if you have profits but you have no friends and you feel like crap, it's like, what? Why are we doing this then?
Yeah.
So I jotted down just roughly some things here. And did I leave my intentions? No. I think I have them at the printer. I might go over and get them, but that might be a video in itself. But this next year, just mine starting to sketch them out. So these are sketching out. Like when you're starting
The
to,
rough draft.
yeah, grab all those things. Start saying, what do you want to accomplish next year? I want to do more
Hmm.
bundles. Obviously, they've been working for me and they have more profit. So
Yes.
that's what I want to do. I like them. I definitely want to grow my sales, and I really need to get up to 80,000 a month on a consistent basis. That's kind of my target on the wall. And that target started off with $100, and then it was 1,000, and then it was 5,000, then 10,000, then up to I'm consistently doing about 40 comfortably, and now I need to get up to the 80 mark. I've had good, I've had bad, but 80 is where my next sites are. So that stair is going to look different for everybody. You'll see it in a minute. I pulled my whole numbers for you guys here. This year, my focus is on intentions and manifestations, Tina. I've been watching a lot of research that's done into the subconscious, and they're saying that most of your success is determined by your subconscious and your intentions and how to set those intentions to then achieve your goals. So that's what I'm diving into. I'm reading a few books right now, everything like that. And then I am expanding my crypto, and I want to get to a profitable level at the end of the year with crypto. And that's something that's not to do here. I'm just saying, write down your
For
goals
your own personal,
for your
yes.
own person. Last year, my goals was to move into a warehouse, get my son off to college, and expand on things with Tina. And that's what I focused on. This year, different focus. So every year it's been a little bit different. All right, this is my tracker for all of my sales since the dawn of time. Since
Oh,
2015.
nicely color coded. I need to color code mine now. I want mine like yours.
Do you want? I like all
Mine
these
is.
colors. But you can see that it's been a growth over years, and I've had some setbacks. I've had some expansions, hiring a packer, getting inventory lab, and expanding to Be Cool. Probably my top plays that made the most bang for their buck in growth. My downfalls were when my kitchen flooded and I had to live out of a hotel and half my house for like 4 months. That was a really big kick. When my dad passed away, oh my gosh, that just really, really brought me to my knees. Trying to think what else was like majorly impacted on sales. Things like that. I mean, just getting my mom moved out and everything. This is life, but
Yep.
there's a life behind all of these numbers.
Yes.
So just sharing with you. And then this is it in a graph form. I like looking at this. I might even print these out so that I can see how far I've come. It's sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Like this year, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't hit my goal. I didn't do what I wanted to do. It's
But it
not as
still is
growth.
above last year. So it was still growth, right?
Hold
Growth
on.
is growth, even if it wasn't
Yeah,
the number that you wanted.
there we go. I don't know what I hit, but
It was
I'm
that.
gonna
That's
get
what I saw. I don't know.
some. Yeah, this was the year my kitchen went out. This was the year my dad died. It's like, you know, things, you have good years, you have bad years. What is this? This is last year compared to this year on a month by month. And I couldn't figure out how to get it up here in the legend. But blue is last year. I'm sorry, not last 20. Last year was 2022.
Right. 2021 is blue and 2022 is the red.
There we go. Thank you, Tina.
You're
Brandy
welcome.
says, what are you using to get all these graphs? Google Sheets. This
Yeah,
is
just
just
Google.
all
We
done
put,
in Google Sheets. I
hmm
just keep an ongoing Google Sheet. And then we have one that we use to track our progress. So I just made 2023s. And then I take things and I put them into like a overall business. I have one that's just like a since the dawn of time. Let's see here. So yeah, just graphs in Google Sheets. So anyhow, last year Q4 I did slightly better. There were some good months, some bad months, but you can see where your time and your focus are. And I think this was it. Yeah, this is the last slide.
hmm
Inventory valuation. This is one that is now on my board up there. And my current inventory valuation for January 1st was 32,000 with some inbound and total
Now
$37,000.
is 32,000 the value of it at the price it's listed, or is the 32,000 the amount that's spent on the item?
Spent.
Yeah,
That's
because
that's
I asked that for people who maybe don't know that, because I remember when I first was looking at inventory valuation, I didn't know what that number meant. I'm like, is that what the buy box value of it is, or is that the actual dollars out of my pocket cost on it?
when you go to do your taxes, and I think that's the only number that you need for your taxes. Everything else is just going to be for forecasting. Um, and use those numbers however you want. Roughly, when I'm looking at how much profit I need, I look at my average profit per item. We'll just say $3 for easy calculations, and I need to make $300 that month. Then it's going to be 100 items I need to send out at $3 profit. But I pulled last year. I didn't pull for this year, but there is a way to kind of pull what you sent in and what you actually sold, and I have about a 20% drop on my estimated profits on Inventory Lab. You know what? I'll bring up that sheet because that is kind of an important one on tracking so that people could see. Yeah, I think I can share this right there. So this is our tracking sheet, and I'm starting to build it for 2023. And it was very similar for last year.
Yeah.
These numbers were the same. So I've got the goals kind of up there: total sales, total buy cost, total net profit, and total items sent out. So I know right now that I've only sent out 405 items, and my goal is up there. Gosh, I have 213 a day on the other board out there. I have it. It's like 1,000. We had a problem when the numbers worked out to 666, and I had one gal who's really like, "Oh my God, we can't have that number." So I was like, "Okay, instead of six,
You got to pull one out of the batch or add one to it.
we gotta just have it," because she's like,
"We would rather have it be 777." Yeah.
But here it is, 1,066. So I might have to change that to 68 or something, because it is actually 0.62.
And for those of you that are wanting to work with somebody, this exact sheet here is what Lucy and I use together. So she has hers, and then I have my tab. I think my tab is next to yours, which I haven't filled anything in yet this year.
And this one is for me, and then I was going to copy and paste it over for you. If I got
so then what we do is on Friday, when we have our weekly meetings, we talk about, did you hit your goal? Why or why not? This is, how much I got paid out. This is what I have to spend. Do you think I should buy, this $80 sweater, or should I buy $81 things at Dollar Tree? We will just randomly throw out ideas and thoughts, and it just makes it nice to kind of have that weekly powwow with somebody else on growth. A lot of times we already know our own answers, but talking about it just keeps you educated, keeps you motivated. Wouldn't you say so?
Absolutely. I mean, it holds you accountable. So whoever
it does hold us accountable.
Yeah, whoever you are being held accountable. And again, you could put a picture up on the wall or talk to your cat. It doesn't, just something, because at the end of the day, if I went to Tina right now and I said, "Tina, we only ship 400 items. That's not going to pay my rent. That means I'm coming in here on this weekend and freaking packing some stuff up." That's
yeah. And then Lucy might say, "Well, I'm going to go hit the stores." And then I might counteract to Lucy, "Well, didn't you?" This is, of course, a fake conversation. But like if today Lucy were to say to me, "Oh, Tina, I've got to really go out there and hit the stores because I've only shipped out this many stuff," I would counteract with her, "Didn't you just buy $4,000 worth of inventory from the lady in the warehouse down the walkway that's sitting in your warehouse?" So, and this is something I say to all of you out there. A lot of you want to go out and do shopping when you know good and darn well that right there in your office, you've got bags and piles of stuff that's waiting for you to list it. It's waiting for you to either create the listing or ship it in. And you have money sitting right there in your office that is already paid for, that is not making you money, sitting there unlisted. So, this might be a real conversation that she and I would have, because look, the going out shopping for it is fun. But if you have it in your warehouse, in your garage, in your office, in your living room, if it is not listed or not being shipped in, you are not making money on that money that's sitting right there in bags.
Exactly. Don't sit on inventory. That's another one. So we talked about inventory valuation. I have, what did I say, 37K sitting at Amazon. And then I also have my stuff sitting here. And at the end of the month, my CPA wants to know, how much value do you have sitting in the office? This last month, for December, it was $16,000 worth of junk sitting here. And that's because I just did that $4,000 buy. And it's buy and all the stuff that's coming in anyhow. So I'm sitting at whatever 37 plus 16 is. Do I need to go out shopping? Not really. I've got to get this stuff out, but then I also have to line up going forward. So anyhow, this is the chart we do. And Brandy, that was for you, for if you wanted to just do a quick graph, highlight what you want, go to insert chart. Then you can go in here and customize it. Like, I don't like that blue color. I want to change the blue color.
And I'm getting fancy now.
Yeah, there we go. We'll change it to a complimentary purple button. Anyhow, so you can then sit there and see, are you making your goals or you're not, which months are better. And this is, you got to take it with a grain of salt. April only has 4 weeks, whereas let's see here, February kind of has five-ish going. So however you want to color coordinate this, the months are just never going to add up exactly how you want them to. Some months are going to look better and you're going to say, oh, that's because we counted an extra week in there. That's why it looks good.
Yeah. PM Porter says keeping it real, and I always keep it real. On the lives, I maybe don't get harsh with the audience, but as far as with each other, with myself, with anybody that wants a real answer, I will always keep it real. And Kate, good for you. Kate says, I cannot ship until I shop until I ship what arrived over a week ago. It's half ready now, might be ready for pickup tomorrow morning. And good for you, Kate, because honestly, that's money just sitting there. And the longer you wait to get it shipped in or get it listed, the longer you're not making money on it.
Exactly. And that's why, yeah, I also have either in Inventory Lab. I haven't really refined this because I've changed it a couple of times, but I've tried to keep track of what's coming in. And usually I'll make an Inventory Lab batch of what's coming in. So I know, like, okay, like I just ordered some stuff on TJ Maxx online. Okay, I know that stuff is coming in. It's pegged to get here, I think, Wednesday, Thursday. I have a wholesale order that's pegged to get here on Tuesday. So I've got to have some way to notate that on where it's coming. Problem is when I get into the custom bundles, I can't really enter that into Inventory Lab if it's not built yet. So
That's right. And one thing I do to help, at least the formula that's worked for me in getting stuff out, like when you have a lot of stuff and then you're overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. I have so much stuff in here. Like, where can I clear off space to even work to get the shipment out, right? We've all been in these positions. And this is what this is what I had to even do this week. So this is a formula that works well for me. So I usually will start with, say, the biggest and the bulk type thing. So I'm going to throw out some fake inventory that this is not inventory I really sent in this week. I'm using it as an example. So the way I did the formula this week is I had listings that were big, like case pack things. So let's say I had, 30 bed comforters. So they were either bulky items that I wanted to get out to make room, or I had a bunch of the same item type, because then I can either make case packs or I can just make a big shipment of easy, quick, label it, get it out. So basically, the more of the item, the bigger of the item, or a whole bunch of the same kind of item, those I get out first because it's usually a quicker shipment and it's a lot of stuff out the door. Therefore, it created room. The next day, what I did is I had all of my Valentine bundles. Those were taking priority over the other things because it was more urgent to get those out due to that it was a holiday. These were listings I had to build. I had not created them yet. So my husband got all of the bundles laid out. I made one sample one, like, okay, these are the ones that go together, call it a prototype. So he knew what he was bagging up. So he was in the back room bagging up all of the bundles so they were done. Meanwhile, I was at the kitchen table and I created the listings for all of those bundles that I had him packing up. So we kind of finished close to the same time. I threw them all into Inventory Lab batch because I'm the one that knew the buy cost and everything involved in it for each bundle. And then we got the Valentine stuff all put together, all shipped out yesterday. Now he's in the back right now working on a shipment while we're doing a live because it's a case pack of a whole bunch of the exact same item. Let's say it's Taco Bell taco sauce. So the whole shipment is nothing but Taco Bell. I made that up. Taco sauces, and that's what he is bagging up right now. Then what I have left over after that is done is cleaning up my office from leftovers from 2022. And I do have a cardboard box by my office chair in the office that is filled with those odds and ends that are items that I know will sell on eBay that Amazon has now removed the listing because they were toys that needed the safety docs that I knew would sell. So I'm going to list them on eBay, and others of them are things I bought on clearance at Walmart after Christmas that were meant for selling on eBay versus Amazon. So that is what I call the death pile, the odds and ends that are kind of like the one-off things. I save those to the very, very end. And then that's when I spend one day doing nothing but those. And nothing feels better than getting the death pile over with.
Yep, I've got 3 crates in my office I need to clean up in here
Death
too.
pile.
Well, I have
Yeah.
one that's damage out. So at the end of the month or whatever, on Fridays or whatever. And this is something that I have my one of my workers do is they just damage out things. So, if it comes back mangled and just
Yeah.
trashed, then I get it. And I haven't been reimbursed by Amazon. I put it on my damage out list. I have things that just need to be reworked and go back to Amazon, and things that just go to eBay. So we'll sit down and do that. I think I have 4 items in my eBay pile right now.
Good morning, land
Right.
shark
Clearing out
maker.
those containers is nice. Good morning, Craig. How are you? All right. Well, I mean, we've pulled numbers. Most of
We
this
showed you
was
what we do, and hopefully you guys that don't do this, got something value out of today's topic of what to do with your numbers and how to set yourself a vision and growth for going into 2023.
yes. And now that we've pulled numbers, when we go to the live event with Julia is rescheduled. It's not canceled. She messaged she's got to do a different Friday. So we will be having the CPA on. She hasn't gotten to me with a date yet. And then this month we will also, once Tina and I have sat down and we've gone over our forecasting, we will show you how we're doing that and how we come up with what we needed for the numbers. But if you wanted to rough it out, like I said, if your profit is averaged of $3 and you need to make 300, then you need to get out 100 items. And I always allow for a 20% drop. So if my aim is 100, I know I want to get out 120. The other thing to go along with that is your inventory valuation. You're only going to sell so much of your inventory per day. So you've got to build that up. You're not going to send in 100 items and sell all 100
Sell all
items
100 of them. Yeah.
in the 1 month you send them in. It's going to spread out. So you can start building your own forecasting as well, but we will show you ours when we get it all done.
Thank you all for joining us today for this first Friday of the year. We appreciate you. And for those of you not in our bundle course and are interested in learning bundles, head on over to Gumroad under Ecom Guild, and that is where you can find the sign up link for doing bundles with us. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care.